Good Monday morning to everybody. It is Valerie and Stephanie here to share with you some mortgage tips. Valerie Beausoleil from the Beausoleil Realty Group at Keller Williams, and Stephanie Anderson from the Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. And today we're here to talk to you about, do I need a down payment? Now, we're going to dive into that a little bit. First, I want Stephanie to tell us a little bit about herself, and then I want to talk about this down payment question because I hear it all the time on the 100% loans, like a USDA loan or a VA loan or any of these specialty loans, that they don't need a down payment, and then I need to explain to them otherwise. So you can shed some light onto that. But before we get going, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, hi, Stephanie Anderson. Been originating mortgage for quite some time. Have a family of 3 children. The oldest is 21, the middle is 14, and the baby is 10. So not only does mortgage push me to my limits every day, kids do too. But grateful to be here, and thanks for sharing this time with me.
Awesome. I'm so glad to have you here, especially with your busy schedule. So let's dive right in. Tell us a little bit about these programs and how the down payment process works. Because back in the day, when probably the first time I bought a house, first time you bought a house, you needed that 20% down or
Sure.
else. And a lot of people are still under that misconception that they need a 20% down payment. So tell me a little bit
Yes.
about that.
Agree. Definitely a myth that you need this big, huge savings account to be able to make your home purchase, when it's just simply not true. There are so many specialty products out there available on the market. Some of those products come in the form of 100% financing. To just break that down a little more simply, that means that if you're purchasing a home, let's say for $350,000, then you're getting 100% financing, you can get a loan for that full $350,000. You have no difference on that you need to make up as a down payment. So there's 100% financing products. In addition to that, though, there are also down payment assistance programs. Those programs are available in a variety of different formats. Some of them have income limits on it, meaning once you exceed a certain income, you can't access that program. Some of them don't, though. Some of them have repayability clauses on them, meaning you actually kind of borrow that assistance money and you pay it back, but it's a separate loan. Some of them instead have forgivability clauses on it. So they're giving kind of borrowing, letting you borrow that money, but after a certain period of time, that money is forgiven and you don't owe that back. So again, variety of different ways you can access financing without needing a huge down payment. Make sure you're asking your loan officer about those things. Do you have 100% financing options? Do you have down payment assistance options that might work for my family? Another, though, misconception or myth is, hey, I have assistance to cover my full down payment, so I don't need any other money. And that's just simply, again, not true. You still need additional monies into the transaction. So I tell my folks, when you're buying a house, there's kind of 2 categories of monies that you're looking at into the transaction. One is your down payment, and then the other is your closing costs. So closing costs are all of the fees and costs associated with getting that home and that loan in your name and closed out. Some of those closing costs may be negotiated to be paid by the seller. Anything that's not negotiated to be paid by the seller and that's not covered through some type of assistance program is your responsibility as the buyer out of pocket. So again, you may be able to get full financing on the price of the home, but you have your cost outside of that need to be discussed and worked through, not only with your loan officer, but also with your trusted realtor, because the realtor is going to be the one that's negotiating the contract with you with you and the seller. And sometimes we need to ask for the seller's help on that. And your real estate agent needs to know that you need to ask for that help. Outside of that, there's a couple of upfront costs that should be noted. And I'll let you share more about that because that's on the contract side, Valerie.
So yes, I do run into this quite a bit with the 100% loan programs that the client comes to me and says, hey, my loan officer told me that I'm 100% financing. I don't need any money. And I know that you check with the clients to make sure that they do have money in the bank to satisfy the extra costs that are associated with it. But I've had people come to me with $1,000 in the bank and said that they're ready to purchase because they were told that they have 100% financing and don't need any more money. That is simply not true. Could be if, like you said, if we could get the sellers to pick up some of those costs, which right now in the seller's market doesn't happen as much as I would like to see it happen.
Sure.
So, given that it's a standard loan, a standard transaction, I would say that you need due diligence money, which is monies that go towards your closing costs, but get paid directly to the homeowner as your skin in the game, so to speak, so that they're taking their home off the market for you because of your promise to purchase. And that's their money if you decide to back out of the deal for any reason. So there are a couple caveats, but typically I tell people it's non-refundable. It's very, very, very rarely that you can get that money back if you, the buyer, backs out of that deal. If the seller backs out, the money typically comes back to you. But again, there are some extenuating circumstances to everything. So that is one thing that you need. And then the other closing costs, as you mentioned, Stephanie, would be inspections, prorations on the taxes. The due diligence goes towards all those closing costs, but that's what they need to cover in addition to the loan product is all the closing costs. And maybe our next video next week, we can talk about what all those closing costs look like.
Yes.
And I think that might be some clarity for people that there's a lot that goes into determining the closing costs. Typically, they run anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000, I tell people. But Stephanie, at the end of the loan process, does all her magic with her numbers and sends us the document on what those numbers truly are.
Right. Yes. So, and you brought up a good point. Your closing costs, those are paid at the time of closing. We still need to verify you have those funds before closing, but they are paid at the time of closing. And the deposit money that you referred to, or that Valerie referred to, is due at the time that you write the contract, right? Immediately once you write that contract and the homeowner has accepted that, then the buyer is going to be paying those deposit funds right at that time.
Correct.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I think that would be a great idea for us to cover that next week. And if you have questions that you want us to cover on our next week's call, add them in the comments below.
Yes, definitely. We want some contributions from the public to let us know what it is you want to hear about, whether it be on the real estate side or the mortgage side. We can come together and get a lot of answers for you all. So once again, if you are looking to find out more about the mortgage process, please reach out to Stephanie. She is available almost every day. She's responding to either calls or emails from me. And if you don't get her on email and you call and you leave her a message, she always responds in a very timely manner. So please don't hesitate to leave her a message. And she's a no pressure agent, a no pressure loan officer. She's there to help you and guide you through the process. And that's the ultimate goal for both of us, is to just make it an easier process and a more informed process for everybody. So once again, thank you for joining us this Monday morning, and we hope to see you next week. And please like and share below. And again, as Stephanie said, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments and we'd be happy to answer them in a future video. Thank you again.
Thanks, Valerie.
Have a good one.